This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another Philly Sports Guy show today, Monday, September 26th. And what a day it was yesterday. There was, I have to estimate somewhere between 15 and 20,000 Eagles fans in attendance yesterday down at FedEx Field. And what an amazing time it was yesterday. It was a blast. We all had fun. They started off strong and it finished up strong. I'm going to get into it a little bit later because I know that there are some people that are crying about the fact that we have not scored in the second half, but I don't care about any of that. I don't think it matters even a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun, watching this team moving forward. It really is a blast. But anyways, let's get right to it. Obviously, the Eagles taking care of business yesterday and taking care of over just the Commanders were just, you know, outmatched and outclassed from the get-go. From the get-go, they were just getting beat up. It was amazing to watch. I loved it, the fact that Carson got the ball first and literally on his first, on the first time back to throw the ball, he got sacked. I mean, it was like they were on him like white on rice. It was just crushing him. They're crushing him all day long. What a way to welcome him back to the NFC East. Welcome back, Carson Wentz. We know that you were missed here. And I tell you, I expected him to throw a couple of interceptions. The one for the 2-point conversion does not count as an interception. It was only, because it's a 2-point conversion and it's an extra point, they don't count that into the stats. But oh, my Lord, just 9 sacks on the day. Yes, Chris, that is correct. 9 sacks on the day. It really was just an all-out beatdown, a beatdown of the Commanders. Let's get to some of the stats of the day. Jalen Hurts looked really good. He didn't get to run for very much. He only ran for 20 yards. So you could tell that the Washington defense was really trying their best to make sure that they kept him contained. They did not want him getting to the outside. They did not want him running the ball all over them, and they protected against the run. And they actually held us to only like 84 yards rushing, maybe even less than that. I think it might even been a little less. But literally, it was because Sanders only had 46 yards. But the one thing that I was happy with them was that they did run the ball 30 times. It wasn't like they continued to pass the ball over and over and over again. They did stick to the run and was able to at least keep that defense honest in that regards. Everything else, though, the passing game went crazy. 22 for 35. He started off a little slow. In the first couple of drives, he wasn't connecting. And I think that had to do with the way that they were scheming that defense. They were confusing him a little bit, and they were able to get like double coverage on both of the main receivers. Yeah, Goddard was open a little bit more, but Smith and Brown both were being double coverage, and it was just they weren't really being double covered. It was that like two-man zone, I guess, in the back zone where they were coming down and they were man to man, and then they had a zone guy close by as well. So it kind of looked like double coverage, but ultimately, the offense was able to figure that out and beat those coverages as well. Hurts went 22 for 35, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and 123.5 passer rating. That was amazing. That was great. Great job by him. And like I said, only 20 yards rushing, and he was sacked 3 times. That, like I said, that didn't really matter much at all. It was a really great game by him all the way around. And the big three receivers for the Eagles all got a touchdown. Everybody got their piece. You know, Devonta Smith, touchdown. Dallas Goedert, touchdown. Brown, touchdown. And I actually have videos of the touchdowns from with Goddard and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith, I'm surprised that they were able to get that playoff. I'm like, hurry up, let's go, let's go, let's go. And they get it, and they get him in the corner of the end zone for that touchdown, right in front of man Pork Rind, literally right in front of him. And he was not very happy about. There was not much rejoicing in Washington yesterday as they were getting beat up. Again, they got beat up in the first half. They just can't seem to get anything going to get started. And they just couldn't have anything going in the second half either, even though they kept the ball most of the second half. The Eagles only had the ball for 10 minutes in that second half. But anyways, Devonta Smith, 8 receptions and 169 yards. That was amazing. Yeah, like I said, he was having a great day, was able to get behind. He had a couple of big plays, especially that touchdown. Like I said, they ran the ball. They didn't get in. They had 20 seconds, so I thought maybe that they were going to have the kicker ready to go run in and kick the field goal. They did not do that. They ran the play and wound up getting the touchdown. So I love this. I love this. Like I said, this is still like preseason-esque, but that was not a preseason play. That was mid-season form, able to get out there and score that touchdown. That was a big win to go to 3-0. Like I said, Brown only had 5 receptions, 85 yards, and that down. And then, of course, Goddard only had 26 yards. He only got the ball 3 times, and one of them was actually a pretty good play. But these got both times. They were in the red zone, I think, 3 out of 4 times. They wind up scoring touchdowns on 2 of those occasions, a field goal on the other occasion. So. But the catches, the one catch from Brown to get down to the 1-yard line in the middle, in that 2 minutes, like literally, he wound up getting hurt. He had to get off the field for a play because he was hurt. They actually charged the timeout to us rather than to Washington, who also had a guy in the center of the field hurt. And I don't like what's his face got up pretty quickly and like literally was going off the side while the other guy's like kneeling on the ground at the 50-yard line for the Commanders, and they charged us with that timeout, which was the reason why we had no timeouts going on that 1-yard line, because we had that one pass. I mean, it was 4th down, but we couldn't run the ball. We had to pass the ball, so we only ran on 3rd down when there was 20 seconds left. And then we had to hurry up and get that play off right away. They got it off literally with 1 second left remaining on the clock, and then they throw it in the corner to Devonta Smith for the touchdown. Here, let me show you some of the, like I said, obviously I'm going to have to edit these a little bit to be able to show them up a little bit closer, but you're going to get the gist of what this is. This first one is the pass to Dallas Goedert that he was able to break a tackle and get into the end zone right here.
said, we got big cojones. That's what he said. He said, what are you doing? Play with them balls. Big balls. We got some big balls. Let's go. Let's go.
That, in fact, that was the Brown. And I'm sorry, I wasn't Goddard. That was the Brown. And before the play started, he was going like this. And then it was funny because I'm not sure that Brown or Smith knew what was going on because they looked at each other a little, like they're not sure. He's like, and the other one went, and then he threw the ball right in and it touchdown. So the only thing to think of is that, hey, some big balls. Let's go. Let's go for it right here. But the whole thing, nobody knew what was going on, and it was funny because literally you could tell like what's going on, what's he talking about with this, and then Brown and Smith looked at each other and they both went like this, not knowing really what was happening. But like I said, Brown got that. That was the touchdown from Brown. The second one here is the one at the end of the two. Like I said, right at the end of the half, also was like an amazing touchdown. You're going to actually see both plays here as they ran the ball in and then had to rush back to the line.
Go. Let's get it. Best punch it in. Punch it in.
About 15,000 people. Had to have been every 15,000 people, Eagles fans at that game. It was absolutely insane. Insane. It was a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to be a part of. Especially when we go take over a stadium, we know how to take over a stadium. And Washington, we do it with the Phillies and we do it with the Redskins / football team / Commanders. It doesn't matter what they call them. That is Philly. That is like South Philly right down there because that's what we do. We make that our home. That is our home. FedEx Field is our home in South Maryland. That's right, because we know how to take care of business down there. Like I said, we had 1,000 people in our tailgate alone, and there were, like I said, 15,000 in total that made it down there. It was a lot of fun, and it was great to not only see that, see all the Eagles fans. I had to have taken every bit of 1,000 pictures down there, and like I said, everybody loves seeing the Philly sports guy, loves seeing the passion and happening like that. It really does make for a great time, and ultimately we come out with the W. Here are some of the things for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz's numbers. He went 25 for 43 with 211 yards passing, a 70 passer rating. No sacks. I'm sorry, no sacks. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Okay, good for you. You know what I mean? He got sacked 9 times. 9 times. That the yardage that they got in the first half. They had 50 total yards in the first half. They had 66 yards rushing and a negative 16 yards passing. Yes, you heard that right. Negative 16 yards passing in the first half. They totaled for 50 total yards in the first half. That's good defense. Gannon let up a lot of points against Detroit, and we were all over him. Hey, he's really come to play these last 2 games. I mean, Gannon has really done his job. So I don't know that I'm yet. I still don't know that I trust him. He's still got to. It's a prove it to me week by week by week. But he obviously did an amazing job yesterday and really held Washington at bay. Yep, Chris, I am not to be remiss about that. We did get a turnover. It was this. He got strip sacked twice. They wound up recovering one of those balls. BG gets one of them. The other one came from, what's his name? Reddick. Reddick got the other strip sack. But like I said, 2 strip sacks. One of them we did recover, and that was when we scored our first touchdown there to make it 10-0. We went down and scored a field goal on one of our first drives. So it really was, like I said, it was just an all-around great performance. The defense really came to play. At one point, obviously in the second half, they kicked a field goal, and I'm not sure what it was, a personal foul against. I was about to say Simon, but it's not, obviously not Simon, by the rookie, Davis. And they wound up getting 15 yards, and they took the points off the board. The quarter changed. They wound up coming down to our end of the field because it was down the far end of the field. They wound up coming down to our end of the field, and then we watched them just stuff them, and they took the points off the board. Now, of course, the Eagles wind up giving up a safety the very next play. I think it was a very bad play call. They put out Boston Scott out there, who I don't think was the best case scenario there. That you could tell that they knew the ball was going to be run. I would have gone with like a quarterback sneak to try to push Hurts up there, but I don't think that they were willing to try to risk him in that regard. Might have been better to try to go with a quick slant or something of that nature to be able to air the ball and just get it out of that area. I felt that Washington was ready for the run, and they definitely got him behind the line of scrimmage. It wasn't somebody like even Gainwell, who was a little bit of a bigger back, could have maybe busted up the line. It was definitely not the best play call, I think. And they needed to get some of that space. But like I said, they gave up 2 points. It's funny. They took 3 points off the board. They wind up getting 2 points and the ball back. But ultimately, they only score another touchdown very late in the game. They wind up losing this game 24-8. The 9 sacks. BG had a day. Brandon Graham, 2.5 sacks, and the forced fumble. Reddick, Cox, and Sweat all with a sack and a half, and then Hargrove and Edwards each with a sack. Like I said, all over Carson Wentz from the beginning. I think we broke a record or tied a record with the amount of sacks in the first quarter. They were literally all over him. I was making videos. I was doing a TikTok live, which was great because we had 20,000 people watching me on TikTok live, watching me kind of, call the game and things of that nature. And it was like I was making jokes. I was sounding like LeBron James. We're not going to have 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. We wound up getting 9. I felt like I was starting to be the count, the count from Sesame Street. We've got 7 socks. Ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? It was just all day crushing Carson Wentz. You know what though? Good for him though. He was able to get up, brush it off, and get back to the line and do the next play. He was getting beat up. His offensive line did him absolutely no favors. But, again, it was a good welcome back, and everybody. We did break a record. Thank you, Chris. I know Chris has got me all set up. He said we did break a record for the first. It really was a lot of just great football. Great Eagles football. And then of course, so the time of possession, we had just over 27 minutes where they had just under 33 minutes. And that had to do more with the second half because in the second half, they literally had the ball for most of the time. It was like, I think we had it for a total of maybe 11 minutes and they had it for the other 19. So they were able to hold the ball and do some drives. They were able to drive that one where they took the points off the board, and wind up going back down the field again. That drive, I think, was like a 9-minute drive. It took too long for them to score, and then they didn't even score, and then we wind up giving up the safety. So it was just like I said, a very long time that they had the defense on the field in the second half, and the offense could never really get anything going. So ultimately, our woes continue in the second half. I don't think we have scored a point in the fourth quarter, but also I could say that the Eagles have not at all this season. So it's, I want to see what it's like when we are down, when we are behind and we start to fight back to try to take a lead, because as of right now, playing with the lead is wonderful, amazing. If we could do it all season long, I would love that. 3 total games, 3 full games, not behind once all season long. And we're still in the, like I said, we're still in the regular preseason of football here. I think we still have one more game to get these kinks knocked out, but we are ready to go and kicking some ass out there. It has been a lot of fun to watch this in total. What's up, Jimmy? I ran into a couple of buddies of yours. They took a picture. They said they were going to share that to the group. I hope you're doing well, Jimmy. Like I said, I know he's that guy who runs Eagles Extreme. If you get a chance, you're on Facebook, go into that group. It is one of the best Eagles groups out there. There's lots of Eagles groups. Eagles Extreme is one of the ones I happen to be an active member in, and I'm one of their guys that they have up there on their board. So I'm like one of the moderators. So definitely come on in and check us out over there if you're on Facebook. Anyways, like I said, lots of time, and now we prepare for another old friend, Doug Peterson, coming into town. And after he had a great win yesterday, Doug Peterson doing some good stuff in Jacksonville, may not be so long for them to make that turnaround. I actually, Dougie P cost me my suicide pick because I had the Chargers, and I don't know if what's his name wound up playing or not. Justin Herbert did wind up playing, so I thought Herbert would come back. I knew he was going to be in a little bit of pain, but I thought that the Jaguars were not going to be enough for the Chargers. But I should know better. I should have known better because I said that the AFC West is not anywhere near as good as everybody was touting them to be. And now what is it? You got, I think, every team on the AFC West lost yesterday. Is that what happened? Let me make sure of that. I want because I know that the Chiefs lost. The Chiefs lost. Let's see. The Raiders lost. The Chargers lost. The Broncos wind up squeaking that one out. At 11-10. I couldn't stay awake for that game. I was so exhausted at that point. So, but yeah, they squeak it out 11-10. They don't even show the fourth quarter here. Did the game get canceled or something? I'm not exactly sure. Squeak out of 11-10, and it doesn't show anything in the fourth quarter. So I'm not exactly sure why that is. I can't imagine that was the case. Maybe just the app is a little funny. But anyways, I think that division stinks out loud. And right now, we're going to have a pretty good day. I think that obviously right now we are alone atop the NFC East, but we could have some company. Later today, as Giants are going to be hosting the Dallas Cowboys. And I have been saying that I think that the Giants can win this game without scoring a touchdown. I think that touchdowns are not going to happen in this game, and the only touchdown is going to come from the Dallas defense on a pick six of Daniel Jones, and they're going to wind up losing this game 15-13. I think that the Giants win this game with 5 field goals. And I think that they're going to wind up tying us. So, but next week we have the Jaguars, who looked, I guess, great. They had to have looked great yesterday, scoring all these points. They were ahead in this game from the get-go. They've obviously in the second quarter, Trevor Lawrence had 3 touchdown passes and 260 yards, 118-yard passer rating. James Robinson running for 100 yards. The receivers had 85. 8 for 15 on third down conversions, 2 for 3 on fourth down, had 150 yards rushing, 260 passing. That's telling me that they're going to be ready to play and scoring 38 points. Last thing you know is right now, Jacksonville Jaguars are first in the AFC South. How about that? You had the Colts win yesterday. They finally get up on the board. They were winning, yesterday. Hey, let me go over all the football scores before I go to take a break. Let's go over all the scores in general. The Vikings come back last second. So let's see, when did they score that? Yes, yeah, it was almost that was a game-winning drive by Kirk Cousins over the Lions, and they wind up winning that game 28-24, 14 points in the fourth quarter to wind up winning that game. That was that was a good win by them. I thought that the Lions are going to be a little bit better, maybe in the Class of the East. May have spoken a little too soon. They got to figure out how to win those games and make sure to stop quarterbacks in the last second. Ravens beat the Patriots 37-26. You could believe that the Ravens were a little angry about what happened last week with Miami, who they didn't think was very good. However, we'll get to that in a second. The Carolina Panthers. Here we go. Matt Rule breaks his cherry this year and takes care of the Saints 22-14. The Chicago Bears, who are looking a little like that, like they got something going on there right now. That's a three-way tie for first place in there, but they beat the Texans 23-20, who have not gotten to wins yet so far this year. The Indianapolis Colts come out of nowhere and score a game-winning drive again with 29 seconds left on the clock, and they wind up beating the Chiefs 20-17. How about that? How about that? This is the one. Everybody is seeing the viral video of the Bills offensive coordinator going crazy and breaking stuff. He went nuts. He went absolutely nuts. I don't know what happened, but literally Dolphins leading the AFC East right now, 21 19 win over the Bills. They take care of business in Miami. Tua, I got to see what the stats were for Tua. 13 for 18 with 186 yards and one touchdown. Has a great Josh Allen throws 63 times, 42 for 63, 400 yards and two touchdowns. 60, dropping back to past 63 times. What type of rushing did they have? I mean, I got to check the stats even a little bit further now. I want to see what was going on here. How many times they rushed the ball? Allen ran for 47. Moss they had over 500 yards in offense in total. Had to have had, because it's like you have 46 from Moss, 13 from Singletary, and 47 from Josh Allen. So literally they scored 60, 106. They had over 500 yards of total offense to lose to the Dolphins. I guess that defense really came into play, winds up stealing that W for Tua. Cincinnati Bengals get on the board. They played against the Jets. Jets squeaked one out last week. They weren't anything this week. They were down from the very get-go here, and they lose to the Bengals 27-12. Moving forward here, the Los Angeles Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans win, never trail. But the Raiders tried to come back. They tried to come back, and they fall too short. Obviously, that 2-point conversion at the end of the game does not hold up, and obviously they can't get the ball back, and Tennessee wins that game over there 24-22. The Jaguars, we talked about. Jaguars beat the Chargers 38-10, knocking me out of my suicide pool. Bastards. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Seattle Seahawks. See, Seattle Seahawks obviously played their Super Bowl in week 1 against Denver, against a team. Well, now I know that Denver is not that good of a team. They've got a great defense. Their offense stinks out loud. And so Seattle was able to win that game. They are not going to win many more. And Atlanta breaks their cherry this year as Cordarrelle Patterson. It says that Cordarrelle Patterson had a day today. It winds up, 141 yards and a touchdown there. Obviously, let's see how he did on the receiving end of things, because he's also, he only had one pass for 12, but 141 yards, rushing all over them to beat the Seahawks 27-23. Here was a game that kind of surprised me a little bit. It was a lot closer than I thought. The Rams beat the Cardinals 20-12. At first, it looked like that they were coming back. At the time that I saw it, it was 13-9. Yeah, it was 13-9. And it looked like that there was more of a chance for the Cardinals to come back. Did not happen. The Rams take care of business there and win 20-12. Packers stave off, Tom Brady again, a 2-point conversion. It's not to tie the game, and they wind up beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14-12, and what people say could possibly be, the NFC Championship game. I think neither one of those teams are going to make it now. I don't think Green Bay is very good, and I do not think that Tampa Bay is going to have the offensive line that's going to keep Tom Brady upright for very long. And then, of course, the Broncos beat the 49ers 11-10 yesterday. What's it? Finally, he gets a win. Is that what that is? That was the Broncos are 2-1, and Russell Wilson still a lot of questions. Oh, is that what it was? There we go. The Seahawks game was halted for a bit because somebody was flying a drone. Yeah, no good with those types of things. They do not allow that stuff. You get FBI. Like I said, you fly a drone over a stadium, people come out right away to tell you about it. And you get arrested. That's no joke. So they do not fly any drones anywhere near any stadiums or any airports. They do not take kindly to that. It's not funny to them. So they start that whole thing off. So anyways, let's do a quick commercial break. And once we come back, we'll talk about the other things that were happening in Philly sports. It wasn't just the Eagles football that we got. We had some Phillies. We had some Flyers. We'll talk only a little bit about those. Like I said, those preseason games, the Phillies are a little bit more important. So we'll talk about both of those once we get back from these commercial messages. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Everyday GSD Podcast. Today's special guest. Welcome to the Military Shooting Podcast. A true everyday.
It's the demand of the job. It's the demand of anything. Success is based on participation. So I participate daily.
Daily, yeah.
For those who don't know, it's Cold War era.
Anybody wants to hear anything I have to say, but you and I have a lot of great conversations.
Everyday GSD is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's a way of life. The show's guests come from all walks of life and all have the same everyday get shit done mentality in common. Many are former military special operators who are now everyday GSDing in their civilian life. Others are civilians who get shit done on a daily basis. veteran, prior military. The goal is to motivate and inspire through like-minded guests sharing epic life stories. Ultimately, what we want the audience to realize is every day is an opportunity to get up and get shit done. My name is Darren Bebo, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jonica, and I everyday GSD.
My name is Mike Rebell, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jeffrey Barnett, and I everyday GSD.
This is Wojo, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jake, and I everyday GSD.
My name is Hannah Gaber, and I everyday GSD.
This is Rachel, and I everyday GSD.
My name's Keith Dixon, and I everyday GSD.
My name's Kyle McCord, and I everyday GSD.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, isn't he?
And we are back. And you know what? I just saw this message up here. I wanted to go ahead and put that up there. Will I be in Arizona? Yes, I will be in Arizona. And for everybody who is going to be there in Arizona, I'm going to have an announcement here at the end of the show. The last 5 minutes of the show, we're going to talk about where the Philly Sports Guy is going to be and how you can get a hold of me. And tell you, I've got something special that's going to be happening in Arizona. So if you're going out to that game, you definitely want to stay tuned and watch that. Anyways, so let's talk about some of the other teams and teams that we're playing this weekend in Philadelphia. The Phillies were hosting the Atlanta Braves. And on Thursday, we win that game 1-0. It was a great game, fantastic pitching, and ultimately wind up pulling out the W there, which was an important W. We were on a couple-game losing streak, and we needed to be able to set the things right, set the tone against Atlanta, and we were able to do that, winning that game 1-0. Gives us a little bit of confidence, especially after getting swept in Atlanta just the week earlier. Game 2 on Friday, another game that I was at, everybody was a part of, 9-1. It was a great game to watch. Phillies, the bats were hot. They were doing their thing, obviously, and they wind up getting 9 runs on the board and taking care of business against Atlanta. And I'm saying, okay, this is great. We are prime and ready to go and take 3 of 4. I felt like we needed to take 3 of 4. We definitely needed to get the split, but I was hoping that we would get 3 and 4. Saturday's game, I did not get to see it. So I'm going off of kind of what I'm reading here. But obviously they lose that game 6-3. And at game, Harper gets a home run. I think it's the first one in a while. He had been on a streak where he had not hit many home runs at all, but he does knock one out there. And like I said, you can't win them all. So obviously that was the game that we wanted to lose. We meant to lose. And in the finale, now this game had a 2-hour rain delay, and once they come out of the rain delay is when they were up by 1 run. Had they gone, I think, a few more minutes, they may have wind up calling that game because the Phillies were in the lead. And as somebody told me from TikTok, because I didn't get to see the game and I really didn't see the highlights because it was a very, very long day for me yesterday, coming off a Saturday where it was a long day for me as well. So anyways, that it was a wild pitch. It was a wild pitch that this guy scored on. And then he winds up striking the guy. He had 0-2 count, throws one into the dirt. It gets by the catcher. And ultimately they score that run to tie the game up. And then, of course, we lose it in extra innings in the 11th, where they score 2 runs to our 1 run to win the game and actually take a series split 8-7. So what does that do? So those games, we are right now, our magic number is 8. We need 8 between us winning and Milwaukee losing to be able to clinch the final wild card spot. Right now, we are in the number 3 spots. I didn't see what San Diego was doing, but I'm going to go and check out right now all of the standings here in the wild card position. Right now, we hold the wild card spot. We are a game and a half behind San Diego for the number 2 wild card. We have a game and a half over the Milwaukee Brewers for the 3rd wild card spot. Giants are out. Everybody else is out. The 8.5 games. There's not enough time left for anybody to come back. So, and the only other thing that I want to just say is that right now the Braves are a game and a half back of the Mets for the division. So, not knowing exactly how that's going to end. Here are who each team has moving forward. We have 10 games left, all of which are on the road. We have a 3-banger in Chicago. We have 4 in Washington, and then 3 in Houston. So Houston is probably going to not have anything to play for, as they automatically, I think they already have. Let me make sure of that. I want to confirm that. Yes, they already have the conference sewn up. So that those last 3 games are they're just going to be playing out the string. And the reason why that we have 10 games, they don't typically schedule 10 games on the road like this to end the season. But if you remember, this was who we were supposed to open up against. And they wound up taking this series and putting it to the back end along same way with Washington. So that's why we are, going to be fighting this out here. Saturday, the doubleheader against Washington. I do know that. So it's only 3 days, but 4 games that we have to get involved in. And it's I believe. So Milwaukee has 9 games, all of which are on the road too. So they have 2 against the Cardinals. And we have 4 against the Marlins, and then 3 against the Diamondbacks. Between those 2 teams, you have the Marlins, which are 63 and 90. The Diamondbacks are 71 and 83. They could try to act like a little bit of spoiler. I just don't know that they have the power. They do have some pitching over there, so it's possible. But all 9 of those games are on the road for the Brewers as well. Like I said, our our magic number is the 8th seed. Me personally, as Andrew asks this question, if I had to choose between them, I want to have the 3rd seed. I want to play St. Louis in the playoffs. I think I'd rather stay away from Atlanta or the Mets to start off a wild card in a 3-game series. Obviously, it's not something that conducive, especially since we're going to be playing on the road. And, we've had our struggles against the Mets this year, and the Braves seem to do very well at home. They don't do as well on the road, but obviously the wild card series is in the other stadium. And I think, like I said, I think St. Louis is an easier play. Now, obviously, I don't get to, St. Louis is a much different team than when we played them, but I feel like they are very similarly constructed to the Phillies. And I think that is a much better matchup for the Phillies in total, especially if we have our pitchers lined up pitchers and we can go ahead and take care of business. And all we got to do is have some of those bats get hot. I think Castellanos is going to be coming back soon. I know that they're going to call up Derek Hall, and he's going to be somebody off of the bench that's going to be able to play. I know that right now Harper's struggling a little bit, but he does this. This is what happens. He came back from injury. He was hot right away, very cold, and then he starts to get hot again. So it's almost at the point now where he's going to start to turn it on, and maybe that home run the other day was the start of that. So we'll see. All we need him to do, and I think as the weather gets a little colder and the games mean a lot more, he's going to rise to the occasion. And I also think Nick Castellanos, he's another guy who the Phillies have really tried to rely on and have not been able to do so because he's just not played very well. That being said, I think that he's going to be able to come up and really stand up for this, for this team moving forward. I'm looking forward to that. And I think it's going to be a very exciting playoffs right here. So we'll see. We'll see how that all turns about. Ultimately, the Phillies have to win. The magic number is 8. So that means if everybody's winning, we have to win 8 out of the 10, and as long as Milwaukee keeps winning. So if every Milwaukee loss and Phillies win, it's both a game. So that takes that number down. So let's see. I'd like to see them go into Houston with it already closed up. but it may be the fact that we have to win one of those games in Houston to finally lock it up. It's going to be a great time. Yes, I know Nick is coming back. Thank you. And that's I'm good. See, Chris gives me all my information. If it wasn't for Chris Lentz, and I appreciate everything that he does, me all the information that I ever need because I don't have the time to look it up as I'm on the road all the time. Chris is like my reporter behind the scenes, always telling me what's happening and what's going on. And I really do appreciate that from Chris. Thank you very much. Telling me that Hall is maybe going to Clearwater because of an injury that may keep him off of the playoff roster. I know that they have 40 men on the roster, but let's say what's going to happen there. And then, of course, Nick is coming back here on Tuesday nights. I think, like I said, maybe the rest have done him some good, and he can come back strong, ready for the playoffs and moving forward here. It's going to be an interesting week and a half to watch these Phillies. Like I said, Chicago is not doing very well right now. They are 67 and 86, but everybody remembers that they swept us coming out of the All-Star break. I think we need to pay them back a little bit. So this is going to be a little bit of payback, and they're just a little bit of time off of the golf course here. So let's show them exactly where the door is and smack them around and see if we can sweep them out or at least take 2 of 3, which is going to be really important. And then of course Washington, having the 4 games in Washington, I'm sure like Washington's beaten us once or twice this year, maybe even 3 times, but it hasn't been a lot. We have crushed them. We have absolutely crushed Washington all season long. And then Houston hopefully will be already locked up by then. But if not, we'll have to take care of business against Houston at least once, 1 game or maybe 2, just to finalize that. So pay attention to the Phillies. Red October is coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And we may be taking a ride out to St. Louis to go watch our Phillies take on the Cardinals. There'll be a sea of red everywhere, so it can almost look like everybody's Phillies fans, but we're going to go out there and show them who owns that stadium and who's in the playoffs. Like I said, the last time we had records very similar to this was when we won the World Series. Yeah, that was in 1980 and in 08. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see this moving forward. The hunt for Red October is on. There was something else that happened. Oh, by the way, real quick, last note that I want to have on this. Kyle Schwarber, 42 home runs. He hit 2 the other day. 42. Looking good. Followed by, obviously, he's following Judge, and Judge has got, 60 home runs. He's not getting pitched to now. Everybody doesn't want to give him that 61st home run, although he is doing pretty well. I just don't know that he's going to have it. And congratulations to Albert Pujols. He went into the Dodger Stadium, took care of business, and hit numbers, 699 and 700, that day. So congratulations to him being the 4th member of the 700 club. It's been a fantastic career, and I'm glad that he got to that number. I would have hated for him to be at 699 to close out the season. It would have almost forced him to have to come back to hit 1 home run. Glad that he was able to take care of it. And good on the Dodgers. I appreciate the fact that the Dodgers pitched to him and they weren't pitching around him. They went and competed, and he wound up knocking it out there. He took care of his business, and now ultimately we can stop on this watch. He wound up scoring, getting those home runs and being the 4th member of the 700 club. I could tell absolutely he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. All right. Moving forward, it was time for Philadelphia to wake up. Wake up, Philadelphia, and let me hear you say the orange and the black. The orange and the black made an appearance on Saturday nights against the Bruins. They're over across the street from Citizens Bank Park. They were playing at the Wells Fargo Center, and they wound up beating the Bruins 2-1. And, initially, obviously in the preseason, it's always a little funny. You never know who's going to be on the ice. So I was like, oh, okay, both goals that were scored by Cates. And I'm like, oh, he only scored 1 goal. Noah Cates only scored 1 goal. Where did the other goal come from? his brother Jackson Gates. So Noah and Jackson both scored goals in this game. They wind up beating the Bruins 2-1. And it, obviously it's preseason. It was good to see. They both have brand new coaches there. So it's going to be very interesting to see this season. I'm going to be going to Flyers games. It's something that I am going to be a part of still. I know that this team is tough. I know that this team is going to be tough to like. I know that there is a lot of challenges in the upper management, and where all of the fans in Philadelphia, all of the loyal Flyers fans are beginning to, it's really testing our loyalty on whether we are really going to be fans of this team or not. But I think that it is important that we stay, fans are fans. If you love this team, you love this team. Doesn't matter what's going on. I don't care if you don't spend any money. I don't care if you don't want to watch them. You know what I mean? You're going to pay attention to the box scores. You're going to see how well that they are doing because you can't help it. You're a fan of this team. And I'm a fan of this team. I grew up, like I said, bleeding orange and black before I ever bled green. And I'm talking at 1-2 years old. I grew up with the Flyers. I've had the Flyers kids over at my house growing up with them. My mother worked at the Spectrum. My grandmother worked at the Spectrum. I worked at 14 years. My first beer was given to me by Mark LaForest. His nickname was Trees. And it's ultimately, at 14 years old, he's giving me my first beer as I'm working a Christmas party. So I have lots of memories with the Flyers, and I've had a really tough time saying, okay, let's try to get past the fact that Comcast is maybe very good at running a cable company, but they are not very good at running a hockey franchise. And right now, the Flyers are a very tough team to want to follow. But I'm going to follow them anyways. And you're going to still hear it because I'm the Philly sports guy, and love them or hate them, I'm going to stay by my teams. They ain't going nowhere. We're not trading cities. We're not trading the Flyers away to somewhere else. So because of that, still going to be here, and I'm still going to be talking about it. So, anyways, real quick, Chris, I didn't find out who won the friendly this week between the Union and the team from Mexico. I didn't get to see anything about that. So if you could just give me a quick update on that score, I will update everybody else as well. Let's talk about what's happening with the Philly sports guy. Obviously, this is a down week for the Philly sports guy as I don't have any Phillies games to go to. Philly Sports Trips is going out to Chicago. I am not taking that trip. I need a couple of days off. My body's hurting. My body hurts from all the running around and putting on the face paint and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun to do, but you got to have that downtime. When I get it, I want to be able to take it. So let's go tomorrow night at my favorite location, my living room, Dolan's Bar. It's Philly Sports Guy Trivia. Come down, come see the best trivia in Delaware County, at Dolan's Bar. The best trivia, the best quizzo in Delco wins the Delco Best of, and also the most Delco bar in Delaware County is Dolan's Bar, and that's also my living room. Come there, Wolf Phillies, and play free quizzo. I've got good things to give away. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be taking care of some business and just having a blast. So come do that. On Saturday is FanFest. And you know that the Philly sports guy is going to be there at FanFest. And my hopes are, like I said, I could be the Eagles guy. I could be the Phillies guy. You never know. If the Phillies have the playoffs clinched up, I'm going to go there as the Phillies guy. And if not, okay, thank you, Ian. I appreciate that, Ian. Huh? There we go. Union wins the friendly 1-0. Like I said, this game didn't count, but the Union have been on a little bit of a roll. They weren't going to be playing for 2 weeks, so they decided to have this friendly just to keep the legs moving and fresh as they are going and trying to compete to get what's called the Supporters Shield. And they are literally, the Supporters Shield is like the President's Cup or the best record in basketball. They are trying to do everything they can to make sure that they bring home that, and they get ready for the playoffs. And it's going to be a great playoff run this year. I think that the Union could be the very next team to bring a championship to Philadelphia. The only team that would have the opportunity to bring one ahead of time is the Phillies. And as much as I'm rooting for them, I don't know that they've got all the pieces in place to be able to, excuse me, to be able to make it to the World Series. But the Union absolutely all the pieces in place make this the MLS Cup that they've won and add a piece of hardware to their trophy cabinet. And it's about time. It's about time. They've been very close for a long time. Now's the time to really put it all together. So sorry about that. So like I said, on Tuesday is Quizzo with the Philly Sports Guy. On Saturday, we are going to be going down to FanFest. I'm going to be at FanFest with Philly Sports Trips, and we're going to be talking to people and the people going down there at 97.5 and having a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely come check us out. I may even do a live broadcast directly from there if I'm able to. I don't know all the logistics, see if we can get something out there. I'll definitely be doing some TikTok lives to get everybody over there and have some fun with this all. It's going to be a blast down there on Saturday. And then of course on Sunday, we have Dougie P coming back to the link. First time he's back since being let go as the coach. And we're going to see exactly how he does here. He's got his Jacksonville Jaguars playing very well. They are 2-1 and in first place in the AFC South. And we're going to see how well his team really is. This Eagles team has not been down at all. And I know that Dougie P is going to have his guys fired up and ready to go. And it's going to be an interesting game to watch and see moving forward if the Eagles can keep up their winning ways and keep this streak alive of 3 games in total without losing. They haven't been down even once. I think Dougie P is going to probably test that a little bit. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see if they can do that. And we're going to be having our tailgate, the Philly Sports Trips and Philly Sports Guy tailgate coming up here. We do it at the Gatehouse in the Navy Yard. You can park in the Navy Yard. It's free parking. So you spend the money on the tailgate. It's a 5-minute walk to the stadium. And we're going to be having a blast over there, doing our thing and enjoying ourselves. Part of Philly Sports Trips and Philly Sports Guy, that tailgate at the Gatehouse. There's no better place to do it. We'll all go over there en masse to go to the game afterwards. Let's go, Birds. Yeah. Somebody asked if I was going to be in Arizona, and I want to announce this now. I'm putting all the finishing touches on it. In Arizona, there's going to be a lot of people down in Arizona, but we are going to have the first PSG Open where you are going to be able to come, and it's a charity open to benefit the Eagles Autism Foundation. We're going to be going and playing miniature golf in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's an indoor golf facility, so don't worry about bringing the suntan lotion. We're going to be nice and cool, and I'm going to have Hollis Thomas there. We're going to have E-Rock there. We're also going to have, Instagram model Sammy Draper in attendance. So definitely come and enjoy yourselves. It's going to be $25 to get into the miniature golf tournament. And the winner is going to get a nice prize here that's going to be provided by Philly Sports Trips. I'm not exactly sure what that is going to be. It's probably going to be a big coupon or something like that. But it's going to be a great time. Actually, no, I know exactly what it's going to be. So there could be a very nice present for the winner of this. Something very signed by a very soon-to-be Hall of Famer coming in. A nice signed football from them and the Eagles. So it should be a great time held by all. Let's come down and check us out. Look on my pages. It'll be on my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitter, Twitch, anywhere that you see, go to my Philly Sports Guy page. You're going to see all of this stuff right there. You'll see everything that I'm doing in Arizona. It's going to be a lot of fun because that's just the start of what's going to be a great weekend and hopefully a big W as we go and beat up Zach Ertz and the rest of the Arizona Cardinals there in Arizona. All right, guys, my hour is up. This hour goes by too fast. Tomorrow I'm back to a half hour. I like to do only the hours to be able to go over the game time. So, like I said, tomorrow, back to a half hour, as I'll be on at 9 o'clock from 9 to 9:30. So definitely check me out. You can check out the replay of this. We're going to do this at 2 o'clock and then again at 5 o'clock as well to go over everything. And so you can watch me 3 times. And don't forget, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, and of course, Roku TV. So everybody, thank you very much for hanging with me. And as always, go Philly. Yeah.